Dear friends, colleagues, guests of honor, we are happy to congratulate you here, to congratulate you with another fine day, spring day, that brings you closer to the end of the term. So today's presentation, Anya is going to present you to tell you all about it. Welcome.
Hello everybody, I'm very glad to see all of you here. Today we're going to talk about people power. This topic will concern different relationships between people and develop some interesting facts about their life. I hope we're going to bring the house down and paint the town red with us. Everybody knows a famous story about Romeo and Juliett. They were so self-righteous, so self-obsessed with their love that they couldn't cope with all the difficulties on their way. But if we all try to be a little off the beaten track, we can imagine that the story has another end, and we will see how it could be in truth. So, Romeo and Juliet got married and have a family. They were so self-confident, so naive, that they didn't have any suggestion of what the family life was like. So, at first they were on cloud nine, having a whale of time to take pleasure being together. But unfortunately, after 20 years, they become a divorce-prone family.
You are not listening to the words I'm saying, are you? Don't you hear me? Why can't you just say me what I want to?
Darling, what do you actually want from me? I try to take care of our kids and do some work about the house.
No, you don't. Our kids are spending all their time at their grandparents'. Moreover, you have never cleaned the house as my mom actually does it.
You know why your mother comes here? She always gets into our family life. You didn't even think why she comes here. She tries to persuade our children that we are bad parents. What it was, she tends to say that their father is a reckless spendthrift who uses the wealth of his spouse.
So, if you think that she is wrong, you are completely self-centered, self-satisfied egoist. You use not only me, but also your parents. Can't you see that I do my best to earn enough money for us?
Jew, honey, a woman is not supposed to earn more money than her husband.
Do you really think so? You earn nothing. And I don't want to live at your parents' expense.
Good afternoon. What brings you here?
Good afternoon. You know, actually I'm really down in the dumps and I really needed a shoulder to cry on. I came here because I want to find any way out.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'd like to.
So tell me, what's your problem?
You know, 20 years ago I married Romeo. We have 2 children. At first everything was pretty good. We had our heads in clouds, thinking about our future and about our family life. But I thought that everything was going to be alright, but now I'm really in a blue mood.
If I were you, I wouldn't give up so quickly. Have you fallen out of love with him?
Thanks God, no. It just became impossible to live with him. I really can't put it up with his awful character. Moreover, he is snoring. And he doesn't care of anything. He started smoking several weeks ago, and it became impossible to be in the house.
Does he have a job?
No, I'm working my fingers to the bone. Actually, my mom is used to help me. But our family life has hit the rock bottom, and I don't see any way out.
It might be advisable not to take it too close to heart and not to exaggerate so much. It's an ordinary situation for all the families. You are not the first one who bumped into such a problem.
Yeah, but I have never thought it would be so hard.
It is usually hard. Not everyone could solve this problem.
What I should do?
Have you tried to talk to him?
Yeah, but it's easier said than done. He says that I'm like a wet blanket and starts smoking again.
I think you should look on the bright side. By the way, you have 2 children. Don't you want them to have happy family? Why don't you think of them?
We do, but we tried to clear up our relationships and we haven't paid much attention to our kids. They almost spent all their free time at their grandparents, so... Hello, my favorite grandchildren. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Grandma.
How was your day at school?
You know, school is not the right place to think of all your problems. There is too much noise there. Besides, those happy faces really get on my nerves. I'm not the person of such a society. That's why there is no point in going there. I'm a kind of a cautious, obstinate, self-righteous and smart girl. I have my own individuality, but others are just grey mess of people. Do you really think that all these mathematical, physical, chemical formulas, theorems and laws are used in our burden life?
Where did you get it from? Where do your parents look at?
Calm down. I came to such conclusion some months ago. None of my parents took part on it. If I knew what I know now, I would never go to school. Look at my brother. What happened with him? He is a complete high achiever.
Hello, grandfather.
Hello, dears.
I'd better go and bring some sandwiches.
Okay.
How are things?
Not bad, thank you. But I have some unsolvable problems with my scientific project. You know, my improving colleague brought to focus unfounded thermonuclear theory about periodical rise of the energy of helium molecules in upper part of our atmosphere. So even immature intellect of our children understands that there is no grounds to suppose that the smallest fraction of his gas can get warm at such condition.
Did you learn all that from school?
Not everything, but the most part. Despite our school education cannot give us sufficient knowledge for our contemporary life, unfortunately.
Your parents should better think of your future education. I'm not sure, but they won't be able to do this. Because they are too absorbed with their own relationships that don't care even of you. It's a shame.
How they could think about his education if they can't even think about themselves? Their father is absolutely good for nothing, and their mother spends all her time being at work, thinking about her career. She forgot about her children. She forgot about her parents. That's why children are left to themselves. Parents must be responsible to their kids, but they aren't.
I think so too. Our parents, they have to give us much their attention. They should put their whole soul into our education and moral upbringing.
No, you don't understand anything. Only our friends and our company are the most important. With them we spend the most of our spare time, and only they can influence on us the most strongly.
No, there is no sense in your thoughts. Only school, institute and quality academic education can bring up full-bodied individual.
Yeah, there is a part of truth in your discussion, but you can't deny this fact that society influence on us really strong.
Yeah, I can tell it from you.
Yeah, but it's not the only way I look like. It's also the way I'm thinking.
Oh,
Yeah.
finally I see in your dark head one bright thought, but it's very, very deep inside. So,
Enjoy.
oh, thank you, Grandma. Actually, we should go. They promised to call on our grandparents.
I don't think it's a good idea.
All they do is just give you some pocket money, but they don't know how to bring you up. They don't teach you anything. This is not the best way of pampering children.
They are not a good example of good parents, as they couldn't even bring up their son. I always was against this marriage, but your stubborn mother insisted that they would love each other till the end of the days. And what do we have now? All that they can give you is money. All that they can tell you is how can they help Romeo. It's definitely hopeless.
But that could be useful sometimes.
Sometimes it is useful to take care of the grandchildren. But they can't even think about their son. He's absolutely good for nothing. He just sits on the sofa, smoking another cigarette and thinking of the sense of the life.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
I should admit that's not an easy story.
That's why I came to you. My parents tried to help me, but they always accuse me of not being with my family. And what about Romeo's parents? They're like a big bag of money, and I really don't want to depend on them.
If I were you, I'd try to come back a little bit earlier than usually, cook the dinner, and try to make warm, peaceful family atmosphere. You should remember everything that was 20 years ago. You should remind it to your family. Behave as you don't have any problems at all, and it will work, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your advice.
Not at all. Call on my place in 2 or 3 days. I'd like to hear the end of the story.
Okay, I'll call you.
Bye-bye.
As far as I'm concerned, I consider that is not the first situation nowadays. Besides, divorce in the 21st century appears a simple lifestyle choice, the result of two people drifting apart.
I'm not inclined to think so. It's just the matter of lack of attention of each other. They don't have such a big crisis. It's just like a big test for their feelings, and if they manage it with a success, it will only consolidate their relationships.
But look, Juliet is a rather successful woman. Why should she bear Romeo, who doesn't do anything? She wants to be independent, and we can't judge it for her. We can see her desire to make a good family, and it's not bad. She wants her kids to enter a good university and have a good life. That's why she is always busy. She doesn't see any support from her husband's side. Desperately, she does all that she can. Her yearning should be only praised.
Don't rush the conclusion. We don't know the details. The fact that Juliet earns more money, or to be exactly all the money, only makes matters worse. As everybody knows, it is humiliating for a man.
It is, but we have some situations when the wife takes the leading part in the family. However, while the trophy wife label tends to be derogative, it's used to describe young, attractive women who are viewed as a mere window dressing for their husbands. The term trophy husband is used to denote a praise. A professional woman describes her trophy husband as a man who was great with childcare and domestic duties, and as the women continue their climb up the corporate ladder. These stay-at-home wonder dads are becoming more and more common.
Good afternoon. What brings you here?
Good afternoon. I'm so confused, and I suppose that I got entangled about my own life.
What happened to you?
You know, I have a family, but after 20 years of marriage, we feel absolutely unhappy. My wife is always working. We don't have any family dinner. We don't even talk about anything. I don't play any significant place in my wife's life. Maybe I rubbed her the wrong way? I don't know.
Do you have a job?
No, actually I don't. Firstly, my parents had enough money to give us. Secondly, I don't want our kids to grow up alone.
So you have children, don't you?
Yes, we have 2 kids.
As I can see, you spend all your free time taking care of your children. Then why do you feel unhappy?
Frankly speaking, I don't spend much of my free time with my kids. They usually come home late.
And where do they go after school?
To their grandparents. They are used to being there most of their free time. I try to talk to Juliet, but we usually beat a dead horse. So now I'm not on the speaking terms with her.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought that you're trying to solve your personal problem, but not a family one? It's not only about your wife, but you are also the reason of all your quarrels. You are not responsible for what you're doing. After 20 years of marriage, you should have understood what family life looks like. You should have been taught to be wise. If your wife tries to earn money for you, you've got to take it into account and bring up your children.
Romeo is not indifferent to his family. He is just confused by the situation.
This isn't the proper way out. He watches how his family is being destroyed by the relationships inside. His behavior leaves much to be desired.
What do you want him to do? Juliet is an educated, smart woman who has a good job and earns good money. They're two different persons, not having anything in common. Their preferences, views are too different. During all these years, Juliet managed to have a success in business. All that Romeo did was just a waste of time and expenditure of his parents' money.
I think it's doomed to failure. They constantly live with each other. Parents often spend so much of their precious weekends cleaning, shopping and decorating that they hardly have time to get to know their children. They even don't have time to get to know each other. They lost of their chain, which was so fragile it will be really hard to rebuild.
Equally, the children themselves may have such a heavy weekend of programmed activity that their time is also stretched to its limits. Their children are already teenagers and they don't need so much time from their parents. They need good material security. It's very important now to save the family. The divorce would be one of the greatest emotional shocks for them. If they see that their parents are alright, they will feel calm and safe. It's all they need.
But a visit to or from grandparents doesn't feel like a luxury that no one can afford. And this is a positive side of the question. These kids are wonderful, have wonderful grandparents, and we have a rare situation when these grandparents are eager to back them up. Despite their usual peevishness, they sincerely love their grandchildren.
So maybe you're right. Maybe if their grandparents are reasonable, their grandchildren will be a good people. Children should see the previous generation, understanding all the mistakes and form their views. We can't learn from somebody's mistakes, but we can think before doing our own.
Oh, hello, Grandma.
Oh, hello, my dears. Why didn't you come earlier? We missed you so much.
I haven't seen you for ages.
We have just called to know our grandparents.
As a grandparents.
Oh, never mind. We are so glad to see you. So, dear, tell me, how are you getting on?
I think there's nothing special, but I've been thinking about getting a high degree in exact science. I think I should try to pay much attention to math at school.
Yeah, he thinks that all his life depends on stupid numbers. Do you really think that it will bring you lots of money? You're so naive and so foolish.
Did you catch it from your father?
Dear God, tell me, when finally your parents will pay much attention to you? I remember when they were as young as you were, we tried to be wise and smart, and we tried to do something.
Granny, they will be never enough attentive, because level of development of their intellect hits rock bottom.
So now we are facing the music. They've become so indifferent to each other, so tough. Where are those feelings?
Granny, they seem to be very happy, but the last time of their life was like blind alley.
We're happy at first, when we fall head over heels in clouds, when we are so young.
Oh, I can't see it anymore. I can't listen to it anymore. There are such more a lot of important things in the world.
Take it easy, my dear. Come here, darling. So, why do you fill your head with such stupid things at so early age? All you have to do is to be extremely happy and not to make mistakes of your parents. And at least not to be like them. So, all you say is just empty words, and I think that education is more important, and we, as your grandparents, are very worried about it, as your parents don't understand their abilities and duties.
Don't make them be involved in the grown-ups' problems. Let me give you some money. Going for a cafe or...
That's a good idea.
I don't think so. What is going on here? Do you really think that money can be a salvation to every problem? You're old enough people. Don't you think that money can take significant part in the interpersonal attitude? I tell you, I live a long life, and I truly can tell you that you're absolutely wrong. And why are you telling all your regrets about your children to the younger kids? Don't you think that it won't reflect on their psychic? Tell something.
The deep psychological impact to developing superfluous feeling of fault.
You haven't done your homework yet. You better go home now, or if you don't want to be punished.
A compulsion of a human to actions makes him like a prisoner of his life.
It is not discussed.
Definitely, your family is on the verge of divorce, as you don't have any contact with your wife and even with your children. Both parts have valid rights to blame you or that you are not playing any role in their lives. And they will be right. Take it. You think you're lost? No. You're just living in your little world, not trying anyone in. You could be a good father and a wonderful husband who will back up his spouse in her business. If you are not appropriate for business, you could be a good cooker. Imagine that you will cook the Saturday dinner for all the family. That will be great.
That sounds like a good idea. You know, I've never thought that my family doesn't need me. I was on my own thinking that they don't need me and that I'm not a part of this family.
Surely you're wrong. It's a big stress for all of them not having a father or a husband.
You know, I don't want them to live without me anymore. What should I do now?
If I were in your shoes, I would come back home, cook the dinner, and try to make a warm, peaceful family atmosphere. You should remember everything that was 20 years ago, and you should remind it to your family. You just have to show them that you are with them. Behave as you don't have any problems at all, and I'm sure it will work.
Thank you so much.
Not at all, you're always welcome. Call on my place in 2 or 3 days. I would like to hear the end of the story.
Thanks.
Nowadays, the chances of children and grandparents having such intimate, mutually satisfying relationships are fast diminishing. Recent research reveals that in Britain 1 out of 20 grandparents is likely to have had contacts whatsoever with one of their grandchildren during the past 5 years.
The positive aspect of this story is, however sad the situation was, there is no bitterness or resentment. Kids have wonderful relationships with their grandparents. Grannies can do all that they can. In spite of all incompleteness in their own relationships, they have one important thing in common: they love their grandchildren.
What about Romeo and Juliet? Do you think they fell apart?
It's just up to them.
A gloomy peace this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show his head. Go hence to have some more talk of the sad things. Some shall be pardoned and some punished, for never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
Thank you very much. We really enjoyed your performance.
Thank you for your coming. Yes, thank you. That's the end. Yeah.